Today I am sharing with you a juicy, slow flow, perfect to wake up with or do at any point during the day you're looking to get the body feeling good. We're going to be working through back extension and flexion, so just keep that in mind. If you have yourself a set of yoga blocks, I recommend those, though it is not necessary. Besides that, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to begin this class, with some deep diaphragm breathing to get a lot of space moving in the bottom of the core. You can do this seated in easy pose. If you have a bolster or a block, you can lift your hips. You can also do this laying on your back. Just pick whatever feels comfortable. And we are going to begin here. You can take both hands, place them on the belly for a bit more feeling. And we're going to inhale. No count, just feel the expansion drop deep into the belly. And then purse the lips and exhale. Inhaling, feeling the expansion in the diaphragm, the lower abdomen, and exhale. And we're going to continue this for a few minutes. You can drop the eyes if it feels safe. Inhaling, letting the inspiration take up space, expanding through the lumbar spine, the low abdomen, the diaphragm. And the exhale is releasing, cleansing. Allowing your awareness to drop into the body, watching, feeling the breath moving deep into the belly. And letting any tension out with the exhales. Inhaling, filling the body. Exhaling, cleansing. Let's take 3 more breaths. We're going to come together for these breaths. We'll inhale for 4, hold at the top, exhale with a sigh, another purse lip cleanse, whatever feels good. So let go, finish the breath you're on, and inhale. Hold, let it go. Again, inhale. Hold, let it go. One more time, inhale. Hold, exhale. If your eyes are still closed, slowly open them. And we are going to begin. Your breath is your guide through this practice. So remember those deep breaths into the belly. We are going to begin seated up in either thunderbolt or hero's pose, resting on the shins. If you want, you can pull that skin out so you really have yourself sitting still. We're just going to begin with our wrists today. This is where we like to start. So take your hands and just roll them in one direction. And then roll the other direction. And then make figure 8s, so you're dancing here. My right wrists like to crack. That's because I broke it when I was younger. It's the second time I've talked about that today, weird. Okay, finish those wrist rolls. Hands out straight like this, and we're gonna do fire fingers, like you're trying to forcefully flick something off, so it's not through the wrist so much as like an activation of the finger pads. Let the sensations come in your hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Shake them out. Like you now are shaking water off your hand, relaxing the wrists. And pause the shaking, come down into tabletop, where we shall begin with some kitty biscuits. You take your hands like you're trying to grip the floor away from you and then pull up, thinking about a nice suction-like cup underneath the palms so we have that strength in down dog, planks, etc. One more kitty biscuit per side, and we'll finish off with the wrists with some fist presses. I'll come this way to show you. You're going to take your hands like this, and then you're going to make fists. Now, depending on your range of motion, this might be too intense, but what the goal is to stay bent and then round the spine and pull up and then back down. You can slightly release that fist as you come down and then press back up to the fist up. So let's do that 3 more times. Let's do 4 times. 3, 2, 1. One more for good measure if it feels good. And relax. Take your hands back through neutral at tabletop. And we're just gonna pause here. Notice the points of the floor, connecting with your body where you were holding balance. Big breath in and out. And then we're gonna start with our left hand threading the needle. Take your left hand, swoop it up to the stars, follow the gaze with, and then exhale, thread under. Take a breath in and out here. And then next inhale, sweep that arm right back up to the sky. And we're gonna drop up and through 3 times. So thread, exhale. Inhale and up. 2 more times. Exhaling through. Inhaling up. Last one this side. And hand back to neutral. Okay, we're gonna switch sides. We're gonna reach that right hand out and up, follow with the gaze, your drishti. Exhale, thread through. Hold for a full breath. Inhale, unthread. And follow with the breath 3 more times. Exhale through. Last one, exhale through. Hair in my eye, oh God. And then back to neutral tabletop. Make sure that the hands are underneath the shoulders. You can shimmy up the hips. And we're gonna start some spinal cat-cows and dog wag tails. So we're gonna start with the wagging of the tail. Put your hips to the left, look over to the left. Create a C shape. And then switching sides, looking to the left, pushing your hips to the right. Right with the head too. So both head and hips left, head and hips right. Thinking about a C curvature in the spine, back and forth. I actually just got a pop in my upper back, so what if that says anything for you, maybe you'll get it as well. Now, pausing, let's go into cat-cows. I don't mind how you breathe, just make sure you're staying with your breath. Maybe exhaling on cat, inhaling on cow. Slight bend in the elbows as we come through cow, and then exhale around the spine, pull the shoulder blades apart, cat. Letting yourself feel the spine. One more time through. Meet me in neutral. We're turning this into the spinal wave. So I would say walk your hands a little in front of the shoulders. This just gives a bit more space. Round the spine like you're coming into cat. Push the hips back, drop into child's pose. Once you're here, you can take a full breath if it feels good in the shoulders and the back. And then as low as your chest can go, keep your elbows and your forearms parallel with the mat. Scoop yourself through cow and come up through. And then round the spine back to child's pose. And you'll notice this is going to create a wave shape in the spine. As you come through cow, moving yourself into this spinal extension. If you have space, you can open up into a cobra. If you don't have that, don't drop all the way, just really focus on opening the back through cow. And just continuing with this, make it your own. Let it feel primal. Maybe it's sensual for you today. Maybe it's just opening. It feels good to move the spine. Come through one last time, and then pause in neutral tabletop again. Hands come back under. Big breath in and out. And then tuck the toes under. And we're going to slowly walk our hands to meet in a forward fold. We're slowly going to walk our feet to our hands to come to a forward fold. Let it be slow and intentional. If you do not have the range of motion to make it all the way, go as far as you can go and then just stand up, coming into a fold at the front of the mat. And once you are there, let yourself hang. Let your head hang, let your arms hang on the ground. Not worried about if the spine is rounding right now. Just let everything release on the back body. We're going to come through a slow roll up. So one vertebrae at a time. Start to open up the lumbar spine, lifting the hands slowly off the ground. Noticing as your spine starts to extend up, coming out of flexion. Moving up slowly still, starting to come to the mid-back. Noticing it opening one vertebrae at a time. As you start to move through the thoracic, keep the chin hanging. Let the cervical spine be the last thing to open after the shoulders have opened, the collarbones coming all the way up to mountain. Once you're here, breath in and out. Inhale, rises hands up above the head. Hands come to prayer, and you can come to a gentle back bend. Descend the tailbone to the earth as you just slightly lean back as far as you can go. And then coming back up tall. And then exhale, drop the hands by the sides. Inhale, hands come to prayer at the heart. And we are going to reverse that roll up to a roll out. Release the hands by the sides, inhaling, and then the exhale, begin the fold. Starting with the chin, dropping to the chest, cervical spine, coming forward. Then letting the shoulders roll forward. The top of the spine, just dropping, releasing everything, letting the hands hang, the head hang. The shoulders start to have gravity, pulling them down. Coming through the mid-back, rolling down like molasses. Let this be slow and intentional. We're really getting in between every little spot in the spine. Letting the bottom of the spine open and flex forward till you are all the way back in a forward fold. This time we're going to take 3 breaths here. Take your hands behind your legs. If you can even interlace your hands around opposite elbows and pull yourself in. One more breath. Release, take those hands, place them on the mat. Step one foot back, then the other. We're coming into a down dog. This is your first time here. We're going to take about 8 breaths. Notice how you can slightly bend in the elbows so you're not hyperextending. Elbows then squeezing towards the back of the mat, pushing the hips to the back top wall. If there's a slight bend in the knees needed, that's fine to keep the spine long, decompressing. If your legs can go straight, that's great. And breathe. Let your head hang, maybe shake it side to side. into a high plank. Here comes some strength. From here, drop the right knee as if you're coming into a tabletop. Take the left leg, roll the hip open, so this way the foot is now draping out like that, so you can see it right there. Fold yourself open, and we're coming into a supported side plank. Woo! There's my balance today. On camera too. It happens. Notice where the balance is asking for in your body, how you can play with this. And then if you would like, lifting that left leg off, press the heel away. And then holding a bit longer, you can either keep the leg straight or coming into the spine behind the back. And release whatever you have. Take your left leg, place it back down, roll through, and back to down dog. 2 breaths. Inhale, high plank. Drop the left knee this time. Roll open the left hip, and then coming into a supported side plank to this side. Take your time. Look at me staying up straight. If this is enough for you, or you're enjoying the stretch you're experiencing right here, stay here. If you'd like a little bit more balance challenge, lift up into a supported half moon. Heel pushing away from you, toes towards the middle of the body. And then coming into that bind, into a kneeling half bow if you would like. How can you hold your leg? Get creative. Whee! Whoo! And release. Come back through into neutral tabletop all the way and drop back into child's pose. Let's take 6 breaths here. And roll back up into tabletop, come back to down dog. We're gonna come through a spinal roll this time. In this spinal roll, you're going to round your spine as you come through to high plank, like a cat. Round, 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 round. Straighten out and plank. Bend the knees, arch the back like a cow, push the hips back, and then lift them up. Back to down dog. And then play with this motion. We'll be here for about 30 seconds, thinking about the cat and the cow as you move from down dog through to plank, rounding to plank, and then cow in the back. As you come back through beast and into down dog. Woo! You should feel this in the core, the shoulders, even the legs. Nice, let's go one more time. Don't forget to breathe naturally through this. And back to down dog. Oh, okay. We're going to now drop the knees. Whew. I'm starting to feel heat in my body. And we're going to take it through a crunch in the core. Take that left leg, extend it out straight behind you, rising it off the ground. Bend at the knee, lift the heel up. This is tiger. And then exhale, point the toe, pull the knee into the chin or the forehead, tiger curl. That's 1. Extend it out and up, and again, 2. 2 more times. Last 1. Now keep this curl. If you haven't, bring it back. Take that foot, place it in between the hands. Ooh, and here's where the blocks come in handy if you have them. If not, make do with something you've got, or maybe you don't need them. Relax the back toes. And now tuck them back under. We're going to lift up through into a high lunge. Think about the hips staying square, pushing the left femur back, right one forward, squaring them up and above. And if you need to, you can take the blocks to a higher level. That back foot, it can slightly turn out into a warrior. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift back into pyramid. And then rock forward into that high lunge. And then shift back to pyramid. Beautiful. Let's do that one more time. Back and forth. This time, hold pyramid. Take your hands off the blocks if you can. And we're going to first lift ourselves up. This is squeezing the core, squeezing your inner thighs together. Now, if you have space, you can take your hands in prayer behind your back. If not, just take them on the hips, and we're going to lean forward in this pyramid. Think about keeping a connection in the core, a twist inwards so you're not flaring the hips open, but keeping them square in the front of the mat, and then leaning forward. I will bring my hands behind my back in prayer, and we're holding this. Breathe. Three more breaths out. And exhale, release. Take your hands, place them around the front foot, and step the left foot back to meet the right. We're in down dog. We can come through one spinal roll, roll forward, and round or an arch back. Come back through and meet in tabletop. This time we're going to take our right leg, extend it out behind us, up and hovering. Bend at the knee, push the heel up, tiger. Inhale, exhale, point the toe, knee into chin or forehead, tiger curl. Inhaling out, and in. Think about really connecting with that core, that scrunch. 2 more times. And keep the curl this time. If you haven't, bring it back. Hold, squeeze, and then take that foot in between the hands. Grab the blocks. We're lifting up, tuck the back toes under, high lunge. And then extend the front leg to pyramid. If you need to open the back hip a little, you can. But remember, keep the core connected, twisting inward over to the right. Inhaling back to high lunge. Exhaling back to pyramid. Do that 1 or 2 more times. I'll go for 2. If it feels good, or just start to hold pyramid here. Okay. Once we're in this pyramid, mine's pretty long. If you need your feet closer together, should have said this on the first side, but you can bring your feet closer together. Take your hands slowly off the blocks, squeeze through the foot, the inner thighs, the core, and just notice the strength you're asking for in your thighs and your balance. Hands come to the hips or behind the back. This time you could try to even interlace them like you're coming into a humble warrior. And then extend the body forward. Remember, we are keeping our hips square, twisting slightly over to the right, so you're not opening to the left. Holding for 5 breaths-ish. Connect with the core. And exhale, releasing that last breath, the hands as well. And we're going to walk our left foot to meet the right foot at the front of the mat this time. Slightly different, yep. And this time coming with an inhale, rising up to mountain. Take a breath here. We're going to finish with a bit more of the back bend, and that's where we'll end. So we're going to come through Malasana, a deep squat. If you have the space, this is how we're going to get onto our backs. If not, just be gentle with yourself and get onto your back by slowly lowering yourself and rolling back. So dropping into a deep squat if you can. Notice how deep you can go. And slightly drop the bum. And roll all the way back. We're going to start with a bridge. So from here, take your hands, make sure they're by the sides, make sure the fingertips are barely grazing the back of the heel. And then on an inhale, reach those hands up and over. Up high, and then release, hands come back down to the sides. Again, up and through. Lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, front of the thighs open, and release. One more time, in and up. Lift, hold, squeeze, 3, 2. Keep your hands over the head, lower the hips. Slow. Let the back descend, the body relax for a moment. Pull those knees into the chest. Here comes the core strength. We're going to rock up into boat, and then we're going to move between boat and reverse tabletop. So rock up, find your balance point. Here comes boat. Legs can be touching, toes grounded, lifted, knees bent, or extended, and hold. Hands out by the sides. Relax, take your hands by the sides, lift up, reverse tabletop, open the shoulders, squeeze the glutes, and back, drop into boat. Again, hold. Lengthen through the spine. Relax, reverse tabletop, hands by the sides, fingers forward, lift up. Again, one more time. Lift up. I'll keep my knees bent this time. And hold, squeeze, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Reverse tabletop. And drop yourself, let yourself sit here for a moment. Now, how is this gonna work? Let's come back through into a bit of a rounding in the spine. So you can come back into either a wind relieving pose, an egg roll side to side, or if you've got the space, scoot forward, you can lift your legs straight up and back behind you, coming into plow. We're gonna hold for 5 breaths. Wherever you choose to go, let it be a rounding, a flexing of the lumbar spine. And exhale, release. Let yourself roll back to a bridge. We're gonna finish with a bridge, or if you've got the space, coming into a wheel. So, first step here. Let's go ahead and make sure our feet are in a good place. So I'm gonna actually lengthen out a little. And make sure just the fingertips graze. And we're going to take a breath in and out. And then inhale, lift the hips through bridge. Now, if you don't want to do wheel, but you want this a bit deeper, you can shimmy your shoulders under, clasp your hands together, lift the hips, lift the chest, hold for 6 breaths. If you've got the space, take your hands, palms down, and lift up into a wheel. We have 6 more breaths wherever you choose to be. And let's go. And wherever you are, start to lower the hips, remove the shoulders out from underneath you. If you're in wheel, lower yourself, reverse just how you came up. And lengthen yourself out on the mat. You can give yourself a happy egg roll for the relief in the low back. It's the opposite in equal motions that we are looking for. If we move our body one way, we balance it out the other. And then finishing up any movement, if that's plow, happy baby, an egg roll for you. And we'll end in corpse. Let your body lay still. Integrate everything you just did. let's take 4 deep breaths into the diaphragm just like we started. And take your time. You're welcome to lay here as long as you would like, but in honor of the video, we will end there. Thank you so much for joining. It was an honor to share this slow, juicy flow with you, and I will see you in the next video.